Welcome back everybody, it's another Harry Potter video here on CM42 TV and I can only apologise for the delay. This one's on me. It's been a few months since the last one, since we talked about my process of reading the book, going straight into the film, and as always in these Harry Potter videos, I like to have my sister here involved, even though she's looking a bit like a Slytherin today.
I am looking like a Slytherin.
Wholeheartedly, Hufflepuff till she dies.
Well, I am, right, but I have quite a few, I have to admit, I do have quite a few traits of Ravenclaw, so I'm technically a mix of both, but I prefer to associate myself with Hufflepuff.
I feel like
Not
I'm
for
one of
any
those...
reason, there's no, like, I don't dislike any of the houses,
Yeah.
I just think I've just always felt more of a Hufflepuff, so.
I'm one of those guys that believes that I have hints of all the houses, but the majority I probably go towards Ravenclaw. This particular edition, or you might get edition of the book in addition to the video, is for Goblet of Fire. So I took my time reading this book, and I'll tell you why. I started reading it right at the start of December.
Did you?
And I could have made my way through it, you know, in December. But, you know, at any time, sometimes, you know, at night time, I might not have been reading, I might have watched a Christmas film, or have done whatever in December. And then January came, and I actually got quite a few books for Christmas, didn't I?
Yeah.
First time ever since I'm a reader now. That Rachel bought me, and Santa of course, and I read an autobiography in January, so I put the entire book on halt for a whole month. So this was through December,
And
February, and the start of March, the first few days in March, and I finished it on like the 3rd or 4th of March, I believe. So it did take me longer to get through this, not because the book was boring or wasn't as good as the other ones, just because life gets in the way, man. And also because when I finished this book, we didn't watch the film immediately, we left for like a week or two.
That's true.
I'm continuing to enjoy this process. Sometimes though, when I'm halfway through the book and I'm like, oh my god, there's so much to go, I just want to watch the film. I kind of feel like that.
Yeah.
But I do enjoy reading it, and then watching the film after and seeing how it holds up. And what I will say about Goblet of Fire is I think it's the most time, maybe this one along with Chamber of Secrets, the times that there are things that are different, obviously, because you can't involve everything in the film that's in the book. But in terms of like the amount of stuff that may be left out or skipped over or whatever, I'd probably say Goblet of Fire is up there with Chamber of Secrets with like the most is in the film that I expected. Whereas Prisoner of Azkaban and Philosopher's Stone, there's a lot of skipping about, I think, but again, it's necessary for those two films. But I love the book, I love the film, and Rachel's particularly excited for this one because it's her favourite Harry Potter film, and why is that?
Well, it's always been my favourite. I don't know if it's because I remember it the most, because I guess it's the most like, there's all these events that are happening. Like,
Okay.
well, I wouldn't say it's the most. Obviously, every single one has.
There's lots of stuff going down, yeah.
But I always remember, particularly the maze. I think but like we've said before, I never remember when the first time I watched Harry Potter was. But that's something I always associate myself with. Is like that maze.
When I was reading about the maze in the book, I had a vision in my head of when we watched it for the first time.
Really?
And that's never happened before with this read through because we watched them so long ago for the first time.
See,
for
that's
me.
interesting. I wonder about it.
And I don't know why it was. I just, when I read about the maze and I read them helping Cedric up and running, I just had it in my head. But it's funny because in the film the two of them just kind of chase each other and kind of race, I guess, to the finish line, whereas it was more of like a collaborative effort in the book. But I just had this vision of them running in the maze, which is funny.
Also, I think the older I got as well, because it is the one that's predominantly Hufflepuff, it's probably why I also kind of favour it a little bit. I'm kind of biased, but
yeah,
and I'm obsessed with Cedric.
Yeah, she's also got this kind of fandom towards the Cedric Diggory character, so much so.
Yes, we have Hufflepuff.
We have some
items.
merchandise here.
I really should have worn yellow. I was going to change it, could not be bothered. Where do we start with? Hufflepuff edition?
No, I just mentioned
We
Cedric.
have the Cedric Funko Pop from the Yule Ball.
It's actually quite a good one, I think.
It's a really good one. I want to get the other one though as well, with the Seeker, like the Thingy uniform.
Got it.
They're not beautiful. You can tell who it is.
Yeah, there you go. That's very good. There you go.
So that's from the Yule Ball, obviously. And yeah, that's it from the top shelf. I have a top shelf in my bookshelf devoted to Harry Potter. I've got him, I've got another little Cedric next to it and stuff.
Hello Cedric.
And in the middle I have this candle that I recently got. This is me doing a haul of Hufflepuff things.
That's fine.
It's from, I don't really know how to pronounce the name, but I got it off of Etsy and it has different, there you go. It says, it's not a bad place for a bath. There's a bunch of characters and obviously I got Cedric's.
Obviously.
Smells good. Don't really know how to explain it. Can't really remember what it smells like, but...
What does it kind of smell like? It smells like
think,
sweets.
Yeah, cinnamon was definitely one of the ingredients. But
Marshmallows?
I don't really know what else was in it, I can't remember, but it smells good.
I'm not saying marshmallows are in the candle, I just said that's kind of what it smells like.
And then, oh yes, my bear that is dressed like a Hufflepuff.
Who got you that?
Chris. Chris and my mum and dad and stuff. and it's got the Hufflepuff, you know, it comes with a wand.
That we had to go
Very
back and
fun.
buy separately,
Very
ironically.
fun. And then we have the Hufflepuff edition of the book, which is beautiful. It's got the sprayed edges with the house colours, and then it's got the dedication, patience, loyalty on the back, and the symbol. So pretty. And then finally, I have my wand.
This is the big one.
Ollivanders from when we went to Universal. What, 3 years ago this year?
2018,
3 years
yes.
ago this year.
Those
And
long time viewers will remember our haul for
it's
that.
not going to go thingy, but that's
No.
Cedric's. So I love that the map has all the spells on it, and it has where you can go, and it's also looks like the Marauders map. And then we have his wand, which is just, I love it. Look, it's got these things. I don't know what they're called, symbols on it and stuff, and I don't know. It's the interactive one as well, which I looked it up. I'm going to point you with my one now. I looked it up, and apparently you can use these for as long as they.
Really? Cool.
Apparently, and if it stops working, you go and they replace it for free, like the bit inside it. They fix it.
Cool. So I read this version, but Rachel has this for collector's purposes, and I kind of now I'm looking at it, it's more pretty, and I just kind of wanted to read that one.
Well,
however, this is part of the same set.
Yes, and also the spine on that has become me a little bit,
Because
which
of the
is I
wear
don't
and tear.
mind because it shows that it's been read and loved and stuff. But like obviously this is a hardback, so it's not really going to happen as easily.
Yeah, true. Oh yeah, true. It's a hardback, isn't it? So.
Yeah, when you take the dust jacket off, it's.
It look. Do you know what?
It's
I know you were complaining about the plain black, but it actually looks like the uniform.
A little bit. Surely they could have done something though. But I do like the spine. It says there Hufflepuff edition and stuff. So I mean, it's fine.
So as always, this is the edition that we watched on the Harry Potter, the 10 film collection. Wizarding. Is there a particular name for this? I don't think there is.
I don't think it's
Just 10 film collection. Blu-ray set. So it was really cool to see all the special features. And I must say, so far, I love the deleted scenes from Prisoner of Azkaban the most, but in terms of special features, behind the scenes stuff, my favourite of behind the scenes extras is from Goblet of Fire. Really in-depth kind of behind the scenes, and you know, I don't know if anyone's going to understand this, but nowadays there's so much behind the scenes stuff. It's great, we're spoiled rotten, right? But documentaries and extras that were like behind the scenes that were made in the mid-2000s, I think overlooked and are underrated, because this is even pre-YouTube and pre-things like that where you can just find these clips regardless. And they had to be like DVD extras. And it's the exact same with like 90s films and 80s films and stuff. Anytime you're able to see these things on TV or whatever, you'd like appreciate them more because it's all you had in terms of behind the scenes stuff and extra content. So I think the fact that, you know, these wee documentaries that aren't particularly well produced or anything, it's just Robert Pattinson walking around doing a wee tour of the set. There's clips of the three of them, you know, like Daniel Radcliffe, Emma Watson and Rupert Grint just sitting around chatting about the film and stuff. I can imagine that stuff being like pure treasured at the time, you know, and it's just fun that they're all on the Blu-ray and really interesting for me to watch. And it's so funny, like, as an actor, I guess I am an actor, still am an actor even though I've not done anything in about a year. It's interesting seeing behind the scenes stuff, and it's kind of like a wee like incentive. It's like, oh, it looks so much fun. I kind of wish I was doing something, you know what I mean? So it was nice to see.
We have to mention, we cannot forget to mention how good the extra video was of the song when they're at the Yule Ball.
Oh my god, I forgot
like
about that.
The performance, and it's like the band, I don't remember what the band is called.
Yeah.
But they're all there, it shows the full thing.
The full song.
It's basically like a full music video, it's like a full scene, and it is so like quirky and
the song
fun.
is class as well, isn't
The
it?
song is so good.
I know you love Goblet of Fire, I know you've seen it more times than ever, but is there anything that sticks out from this particular viewing that you found interesting? Like anything I said about the book or anything like that? Or is it just, do you just love the film regardless?
It's a very loaded question to ask me on the spot. It didn't prepare me for this.
I like to do that. And for the kill.
Sometimes I tend to watch it and turn it off just as I get in the graveyard. Just for the fun. Because up till then, nice fun film. Nice and, oh, they're being tested, but oh, they're surviving. Oh, it's so fun and quirky. And then it's like, just gets very serious real quick.
Yeah. Let's talk about Victor Crumb. Okay, so I don't know if any other Harry Potter book readers will agree with this. What's your head? And maybe it's me. Maybe I'm the problem here. But when I was reading Goblet of Fire, I had in my head that Victor Crumb was this kind of like womanizer, really clean-shaven, handsome, well-tanned, good skin condition, good bone structure, like the ideal guy in these films and books and that sort of thing. And I don't know why I had that. I just assumed that everyone fancied him, and you know the guys looked up to him because he's famous and stuff. Hermione really wanted to go to the ball with him, all that sort of stuff. And I'm not saying that the actor they got, the Stanislav, what's this guy's name?
We're going to call him Stan because
Stan.
we don't want to butcher his name.
Yeah.
I think his name's Stan.
The actor that plays
Victor.
In the film, I'm not saying he's not, you know, a good actor, handsome or whatever like that. I'm just saying it's not what I had in mind, and I think Rachel found it really interesting that I had, because obviously all you know is that Victor Krum. So when he comes in with like the mad Russian hat, even though he's meant to be Bulgarian, and he's like doing his storming and stuff, and everybody's like taking note, and he's like saluting people and stuff. I was like, first of all, stereotypical foreigner in a film, which we didn't need for this character, and also I just was like, that's not what I had in mind.
Picture on the back.
Picture on the back. Rachel enjoys these animated.
Yeah, I think they're cute. It doesn't look anything like Ron, but I think that's fun. Though? Like, I don't think, not in a bad way, it just doesn't look like Ron.
Yeah.
I think it doesn't really look like anything, but I think Ron's vanished.
I couldn't believe that they left out footage from the Quidditch World Cup. They just showed Victor Krum on his book.
Broom.
On his broom. this is going well. And it just cuts away. I thought I'd see footage from that, but I guess they kept that for all films and stuff, which is fine.
Victor, I love you.
We didn't need.
Victor, I do.
So there's been like one time in every one of the books so far that I've been like properly invested, can't put it down, really into it and stuff like that. And it was taking a while for this one. I was like, maybe this is going to be the first book that I'm not heavily invested. But man, as soon as he touches that Portkey trophy at the end of the maze third task, and he's right in the graveyard, I mean, obviously I've seen the film before, but I just forgot about that moment. And just the whole thing with Voldemort and stuff. And I will say the thing they did in the film compared to what's in the book was pretty spot on, I thought.
You think so?
Yeah, it's really well done. Ray Fiennes is amazing as Voldemort, man.
Strange, like how he filmed that with we saw that in behind the scenes. He's got the dots in his face, and like it's mental how that's Voldemort. Things
like the tasks I thought were a little bit different in the film, but of course it's going to be because they're such big things. But like the fact that he's like running away from the dragon and stuff. I think in the book he sees the dragon, and then he just kind of walks around it and gets the firebolt and whatever. Do you know what I mean? Whereas in this one it's like a full-on chase scene, which is fine. It makes the film more dramatic, you know. And what was really interesting in the behind the scenes was when we saw him doing the stuff in the lake, underwater.
6 months of scuba diving training.
6 months of scuba. That's the sort of stuff that I'm like, I almost don't want to know.
What did we work out? It was like 14?
Something like that, yeah.
Something like
14, 15.
I think it was like 14 or 15 when like Daniel Radcliffe when he was filming that. And just honestly, like, you'd say what you want about everything, but it's just imagine doing all of that. Like, what?
I know.
That's a real commitment to like
I know.
do that. And like, there's bits when the other actors are obviously in the water, like Rob Pattinson and the guy who plays Victor Krum and stuff. Daniel was just in there constantly, and like they showed how they made like a wee kind of room for him to go to under the water.
Yeah, how cool was that?
And this is the thing, but it was kind of like this wee room, and he could go there. He was just on his own. He had earphones to hear what they were saying and stuff.
Yeah,
like,
and then
so
like
catch his breath.
That
was so cool.
They had someone just with him with like an air tank, so anytime they finished doing the lines within seconds, he would just take a breath. Really interesting, and it's the sort of thing that's like a big high production film.
It's like spoil the behind the scenes.
No, I know.
Spoiler.
I know. One last thing I want to say is about the falling out between Ron and Harry. Yes. I do think it's a little bit skipped over in the film. I think the book explains it a bit more, but I guess there's not really much to explain. Ron just gets a bit jealous of Harry.
It's not necessarily jealousy, I don't think. I think it comes from a place of, what, you did all that and you didn't tell me.
You didn't tell me.
Behind my back and like cheated, like, because he believes that he cheated the system and all that, but he didn't tell Ron. Like, why would you not tell your...
Whereas I think in the book it's more about like Ron is like, oh, Harry Potter this, Harry Potter that, it's always Harry Potter taken away from me, and I'm just like Harry Potter's daft pal. He kind of says that in the book, and I thought that's a bit more well-rounded of a story. Sometimes like, I was watching the film and I was like, I know why you're fighting because I've read the book, but why are you fighting? You know what I mean? So
I mean, I guess though as well, what they were meant to be 14 in the film / book, obviously. So it's
I guess so.
Be like,
a bit of mature
kind of mature fights of like, that's kind of what happened at that age, you know, like.
Yeah, good point. Yeah, really good. Loved the film, loved the book, and it was time.
I'm intrigued to see what your favourite will be at the end.
Yeah, well, I said to Rachel as well, I'm going to do this process of reading and watching, and then watch them all in like a binge kind of way, and then pick my favourite ones and stuff like that. So it's going to, I can tell you for a fact now, it's probably going to change already, you know. So yeah, really interesting. Looking forward to Order of the Phoenix. However, what I will say is it will be a while to that video because I'm taking a wee Harry Potter break right now from reading. I'm reading The Thursday Murder Club by Richard Osman. And
Order of the Phoenix is huge.
Order of the Phoenix is huge. So it'll be the biggest book I've ever read.
It'll be the biggest book I've ever read, if I ever read it and all. It's huge.
So there you go. But yeah, thanks for watching. Go check out your favourite Harry Potter film. and take care of yourselves, everybody. We'll see you next time.